What if the return of a star means the end of the line for a teammate? In the heart of the Bronx, where every decision echoes like thunder and every name carried by the wind can change the course of a season, the Yankees are bracing for a delicate moment. Giancarlo Stanton's return seems like a win, but in reality, it might be the spark that ignites a quiet problem. The roster is working too well, and there may not be room for everyone. Giancarlo Stanton is coming back. After suffering injuries to both arms during 2025 spring training, he's finally entered his rehab phase. The return of one of the franchise's biggest names this decade is always a reason for excitement. But this time, it's not just celebration, because while Stanton was recovering, the team found new answers. And now that the Giant is ready to reclaim his place, the Yankees face a tough choice. Someone has to go, and all signs point to Austin Wells. This is not your typical story. It's not about a team trying to survive a slump. It's about a team that worked too well. With Stanton out, the Yankees reorganized. The rotation shifted. The names in the lineup changed too. And a young player emerged from the storm stronger than expected. Ben Rice. In his second year with the Yankees, Rice didn't just fill a gap. He became a key piece. With a .851 OPS, elite numbers for any hitter, and even more impressive for a player still finding his footing, Rice has become indispensable. Meanwhile, Austin Wells, who played in 47 games and started 41 of them, remains solid, but despite still playing at a high level, his .206 batting average and .703 OPS. While respectable for a young catcher, don't compete with Rice's offensive impact. And this is where the dilemma lies. Stanton needs a spot, and the Yankees' current structure doesn't seem to allow that without consequences. Removing Rice from the rotation would be a tough call to justify. He's hot, confident, and helping keep the Yankees' offense among the most efficient in the league. Veterans like Paul Goldschmidt already have their rest days carefully managed thanks to the roster's depth. The team is winning. It's cohesive. So, who should be the one to go? Austin Wells' name is beginning to surface behind the scenes as the most likely to be sacrificed. Maybe not because of performance, but due to a simple numbers game. The roster needs space to reintegrate Stanton. And carrying 3 active catchers, 2 of whom directly compete for playing time, might be a luxury even the Yankees can't afford. Right now, New York leads the American League East with a 35-20 record. They trail only the surprising Detroit Tigers in the overall league standings. And the most impressive part? They've gotten here without Stanton. The lineup has functioned with rare fluidity. The team has played as a unit, with contributions coming from both rookies and veterans. And it's not just about stats. It's about chemistry, about group dynamics, about the kind of synergy you can't buy, only build. And now, this finely tuned machine may be forced to change. Stanton, for his part, is a heavyweight, both literally and figuratively. In 2024, despite injuries and a batting average of just .233, he still hit 27 home runs in the regular season. And when the postseason lights turned on, he showed up. 2 home runs in the World Series against the Los Angeles Dodgers. His presence in the lineup changes how pitchers approach every at-bat. He may not be the same as he was in Miami, but he remains a constant threat. More than that, he's an emotional leader, a competitor who doesn't settle for moral victories. When the Yankees received their American League championship rings, Stanton was blunt. "This isn't the one we wanted, boys. The one we want is in front of us. I better not see any of you wearing this around." A clear message. Stanton is coming back hungry and demanding. He doesn't want recognition. He wants the trophy. But that intensity comes at a cost, because his return isn't neutral. It's a shift in the landscape. And in the middle of that shift, a player like Wells could be left behind. The kind of story that repeats in big market franchises. Young talents overshadowed by bigger names. Useful players losing ground not for underperforming, but because of circumstance. Now, the decision is in the hands of the front office and coaching staff. They know that in New York, there's no room for error. Every move is magnified. Every cut is a headline. The next few days will be decisive. Stanton is coming back. But who will be the one to go? Will Austin Wells really be the choice to make room? Or will the Yankees find a way to keep everyone? Even if it means reducing minutes for others? That's the tightrope the team is walking now. And every step could be critical. Now I want to hear from you. If you were in Aaron Boone's shoes, what would you do? Would you risk pulling Rice, despite his current production? Would you give Wells a vote of confidence? Or would you accept the cut and move forward with Stanton and Rice at the heart of the rotation? Leave your thoughts in the comments. But while the Yankees prepare for Giancarlo Stanton's return and deal with the quiet potential departure of Austin Wells, another urgent issue is beginning to pressure the core of the organization. There's a void in the infield that can no longer be ignored. And unlike other gaps, this one threatens the structure of a team flirting with excellence in 2025. With the fall of Oswaldo Cabrera, victim of a serious ankle fracture that ended his season in mid-May, third base of the Yankees has gone from transitional position to a full-blown crossroads. Cabrera had been adapting, fighting, growing, and suddenly everything stopped. Oswaldo Cabrera, who was seen as Plan B, was thrust into a role that demands more than he has shown. His numbers are brutal. A .160 batting average in 81 plate appearances, with nearly twice as many strikeouts as base hits. The hot corner is now an open wound in the Bronx, and when a wound bleeds, the front office's eyes turn to market. In this context, one name has resurfaced. According to Andrew Wright of Newsweek, the Yankees are closely monitoring the performance of Yoan Moncada, current third baseman for the Los Angeles Angels, and one of the most intriguing players in the American League. The mere mention of his name behind the scenes in New York is enough to send a ripple through the entire MLB, because Moncada, when healthy, still is fuel to ignite any lineup. Moncada's transition to the Angels seemed low-key in the offseason, a quiet deal, a chance for rebirth alongside familiar faces like Tim Anderson. But just a few months later, Anderson has already been released and Moncada has flourished. Despite still playing at a high level, in .812 represents a short-term, his best since 2019, when he peaked with the White Sox. His offensive production is steady. 5 home runs, 8 RBIs, and a slash line of .228 .333 .478. More than that, he's an imposing presence at the plate. Even in the middle of a losing streak that saw the Angels drop 5 straight games. During this collective collapse in Anaheim, Moncada was one of the only players to stand out, one of just 2 players on a team to hit home runs during the stretch. The other was Zach Neto. In a disorganized and frustrated roster, Moncada has become an island of productivity, which naturally makes him a valuable asset, and the Yankees know it. Moncada is currently dealing with knee soreness. He sat out the last game against the Yankees due to discomfort, but he wasn't placed on the injured list. All signs point to his return in the upcoming series against the Guardians in Cleveland. And if New York scouts are indeed watching closely, as speculated, this could be the final chance to evaluate the player before a bold move in the trade market. The dilemma for the Angels is clear. The team is sliding in the standings, has lost key players, and Moncada is not part of a long-term rebuild. He signed as a free agent this offseason, with no major financial commitments. He's already on the radar of other franchises, and if he continues producing consistently, could become a valuable trade chip well before the All-Star break. The question is, will the Yankees wait, or will they act before the price gets too high? For New York, the equation is emotional. It's strategic. It's historic. This franchise is no longer in an experimental phase. They're leading the American League East. They have one of the best records in baseball. And even with Stanton out for most of the year, the lineup has delivered, with Paul Goldschmidt getting planned rest days to preserve his offensive output. The team is deep, lethal, but third base is lagging behind the rest of the machine. And here lies a crucial point. Moncada is more than a stopgap fix. He could be a piece that raises the team ceiling. He has a .253 career batting average. He's an experienced player who knows the pressure of major markets. Someone who has played under heavy expectations and who, in the right uniform, could rediscover the peak of his career. Of course, there are risks. His injury history is not insignificant. His last 2 seasons were disrupted by frequent trips to the IL. But when healthy, he delivers. And with the Yankees' medical staff and competitive environment, many believe Moncada could regain not only his physical form, but also his place among the league's elite. The Yankees front office stands at a crossroads. The roster is ready. The rotation is performing. The bullpen is solid. The lineup is a storm. But the World Series window is narrow. The time to wait for Peraza's development is over. And if there's a name out there who can fill this gap without demanding a ridiculous return, without involving someone like Anthony Volpe or Jason Dominguez, for example, that name might be Yoan Moncada. The big question now is, will the Yankees have the courage to act before another contender jumps in? And more, who will be included in a potential trade package? Austin Wells, who already seems to be on the way out with Stanton's return, a young arm from the alternate rotation? Or does Brian Cashman have another card up his sleeve? The front office is buzzing. The next series against Cleveland could be decisive, not only for the Angels, but for the Yankees as well. Moncada will be watched, measured, evaluated. And if the phone rings, it might be the Bronx on the other end. So, Yankees fans, do you think it's worth it? Is Moncada the missing piece that can push this team to ultimate glory in 2025? Or would it be better to stay calm and continue betting on internal development? Leave your thoughts in the comments. This debate is just getting started. While you're here, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell. Because in the next episode, we're going to break down the possible trade packages the Yankees could put together to land Moncada without mortgaging the franchise's future. And you won't want to miss that conversation. In the Bronx, rings don't wait. And sometimes the riskiest move is the one that puts you back on the path to history.